I've got a few of my trail cameras all set with new batteries and fresh cards. I'm going to go up and put them out in some of the trails where I'm pretty sure the wolves are going to be traveling quite a bit. Hope to get back up here in February and retrieve them, but if not, they'll be there this spring. Beautiful day out in the Northland. Trees are frosted up, snow hanging in them. Those bears are going to be the death of me yet. Stepped in here to put this camera up, and I don't know if you remember a video a while back, there was a bear digging a hole out right in front of the camera. Well, it was all covered with snow and fell into his pit. That's the way a guy could snap a leg up here pretty easy, one of the dangers. Put a stick in your eye or break your leg when you trip in a hole like that. This is where I cleared off Jonah's cabin last fall, got the brush out of the way, and now we can see the remains of his old stove in there. A few of the walls were still there, but it's right along one of my nicer trails, so it's really nice to come along and think of the old boys. One of our goals when we come up here around the New Year's time is to go out and take part in some Christmas bird counts in the Northland and see some birds that maybe come down from up north. A lot of the crossbills, common redpolls, the siskerns are around, but there's always more. A real rare treat is nice. If there's some rodents around, we get the great gray owls, hawk owls out in the open. It's supposed to be a good invasion year for the snowy owls, but they'd be out more in the open farm country and not over here in the deep forest. And then the bird that we don't get very often at all is when a gyrfalcon comes down from the far north and hunts the grouse in the area in the winter, especially the sharp-tails out in the open country. We haven't seen one of those in years either, but well, even though it's bird-wise, it's dead quiet down here in the trees. Very nice walk. Everybody always wants to know when the guest cabins can get built. Boy, it looks like now that project might stretch out for 10 years, if I ever do it. But I get things chipped away. I got all those rocks out for the foundation, and I thought maybe this week Kevin and I'd be getting the snow dog out and getting some of them pulled into the site, but the soft snow is just too deep to use that snow dog. It doesn't operate at all in the 14 inches of fluff, much less trying to pull a boulder, so we'll put that off till later. And then next spring I'll be back in this area, this alley down here. Got a lot of these, like this big tree in front of me here, that's a tamarack. The beetles haven't got to it yet, but they will as they have down the trail just a short ways. The bug invasion is moving through this way, so I got to get them down and peeled and ready for me or somebody to put that cabin up. My main goal is just to get the wood preserved before it goes bad with the bugs. That reddish colored tree trunk you see there, that's a tamarack tree that the insects killed just over the summer. It was healthy when I cleared ones out by the side last spring, but the one thing about it is when they die like that, we get these black-backed and northern three-toed woodpeckers like to come and get those bugs. And I've been watching because there's fresh bark in the bottom of that tree, so I know the birds have been around, although it might just have been a hairy. But back in this area, there's that one died and another one, but you know, people get concerned when we start talking about cutting trees down, but you know, back in here, this little circle of open has always been here. And I probably took 50 trees from around the edge. And at this point, you know, you'd never know it. Looking back on it from the southeast, the little opening's always been here. It's water standing out there, that's why there's no trees. Yeah, there's a little more daylight getting down into it, but in that tree ahead, there's a couple in there that died, but there's no woodpeckers working on them now. We're getting our first real wind since a lot of these snows came down, so Kevin calls them snow bombs, and treetop waves a little bit, and a lot of snow comes falling down. It is snowing a little bit today too, but I mean, a lot of snow come out of these trees. We haven't been able to use very many of my trails because I'm looking at a trail straight ahead here, but there was a few wet wind, snowy, just a bad condition in the fall where the trees come down, high winds. And so this is what you find on so many of my trails, and you have that deepest snow laying on top. It's just a pain to go in there with a chainsaw and try to get it thrown out of the way and opened up. So as I'll do right now, I'm just going to detour to the right, walking through the trees, and just what we've been dealt, so we deal with it. All these bumps in the snow are where I used that solar-powered boulder lifter last fall to get these out of the ground and get them ready for transport. But with as deep as the snow is, and we're taking off pretty quick to avoid some colder weather moving in. We kind of been a few days we've had kind of hold up at the cabin at 33 below, and just been bad enough that we didn't trust going out to the car, going anywhere. Of course, it's 3 miles to get out to the car, and you didn't want to go 3 miles on foot or skis to find out the car wouldn't start and have to go back again. So we just stayed holed up, had a good time. Just kind of not much going on, but cabin life's always good, so I'm not complaining. These rocks will just have to wait for another time. I headed up this way with the snow dog the other day, just going to go out and maybe smooth out a few trails, and came around the corner and all these trees were in my way of going this way, so I took a trail to the right, and I didn't get very far at all, ran into more down trees, so turn around, put it back in the shed. This is where I did get the snow dog through, and I was just dragging a wheelbarrow basin, you know, the metal part of the wheelbarrow that you haul things in, and slides along the ground, and did a pretty good job coming up through here because under the trees the snow wasn't quite as deep, and I had no trouble making a track. But my idea was we'd get groomed trail like this run all over the place. And maybe for the future that's the plan, but not going to happen this trip. Yeah, it's been a nice walk, but I could go inside. I left a couple world famous cherry pies on the back counter. They're thawed out. We'll put them in a little fry pan, get them nice and warm, have some afternoon tea, and we're good.